earlylearning.org.
Arkansas Early Learning is a nonprofit organization.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
Good morning to everyone out there. Happy Thursday, May 25th. This is your Thursday version of Community Conversations. I'm your host for today, Quabila Harden, along with Ms. Micah Simone.
Good morning.
And my very special guests today are from Arkansas State University. We have Mr. Terry Finney, Mr. Jason Smith, and Mrs. Dena Butler Graves. Okay, I'm so sorry. Thank you all so much for joining us today. They are from, different departments. Mr. Terry he's the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Enrollment Services. Mrs. Dena works with the Scholarship Program, and Mr. Jason works with Recruitment. All right, so we're going to give you a bunch of information today, so I hope you're listening and taking notes. For all of you that have students that are getting ready for college, we hope that everyone has gotten their applications into the college of their choice, but just in case, we're going to give you some more information on how to get that process started and some other tips and tricks to get you on your way. All right, so before we get into our topic of the day, I would like each of you to please give our listeners and viewers a little description about yourself and what role you play with the department you work in.
Hi, my name is Terry Finney, and I am the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Enrollment Services, and that's a new area that we created about a year and a half ago. I was asked on an interim basis to take charge of the recruitment office. And about 6 months later, I said, well, let's try or look at an enrollment services area, and that includes scholarships, financial aid, recruitment, and the testing area. So we have all those areas together now. And so we're looking at ways that we can work together. Recruitment, scholarships, financial aid, all those things really go together. And so we're looking at ways that we can share some of the different things that we do in our offices.
So basically a one-stop shop for a beginning student.
Beginning student, yeah, and continuing students or transfer students as well. We don't want to leave our transfer students out. But yeah, and that's a good thought. That's what we are looking at as. It's just it's a one-stop area. They can come in, see the recruitment office, get tours of campus, those kinds of things, and then be brought over to the other side and talk about the financial aid,
which is the most important part. Next to getting classes set up, but and we'll get more into the discussion once everyone does their introductions. So who wants to go next? Ms. Dena?
I'm Dena Graves, and I'm the Associate Director of Financial Aid and Scholarships. I've been with A-State for 19 years.
Oh, wow.
And I love working with the scholarships. We work with institutional scholarships, departmental scholarships, privately funded scholarships, outside source scholarships. I work with all of them except our athletics, and Robin Caliuru works with our athletics department and handles those scholarships. I also work with our degree centers. We have a lot of degree centers. We have degree centers at Mid-South Community College, at BB, and Mountain Home, and so I work with those students as well.
Okay. So how long have those, and we can get into that a little bit later, about how long some of those other campuses have been established, and why did Arkansas State decide to branch out?
Well, we started working with the degree centers probably about 15 years ago is when that first started. We started working with BB, I believe, was one of our first ones. And you remember that? And we found that there was a need to work with our students. We had students that were at the two-year schools and were place-bound and were not able to come to the campus. So that's where degree centers came from. So we were able to start working to try to develop programs on campus so that the students could actually get their two-year degree and then walk across the hall basically to the A-State Degree Center and get their four-year degree.
That's really wonderful. All right, Mr. Jackson.
Yes, I'm Jason Smith. I'm the Assistant Director of Recruiting, and I supervise all of our high school recruiters. We have
8 high school recruiters that go around the state of Arkansas and Mississippi and Tennessee and Missouri and work college fairs and do high school visits, visit with the counselors and the students. But our office does a lot of other things. We do campus visits twice a day during the fall and spring. So we do those at 9:30 and at 1:30, and a student can just go online and register for those campus visits and come in and get a presentation and learn about scholarships and different things and admission standards, and then they can meet with faculty and actually get a campus tour. And then our office is also in charge of preview days, so we have a number of preview days for juniors and seniors throughout the year. So we have a lot going on recruiting students.
All right, well thank you all so very much for that, and for those introductions. Sorry. Turn it down. Alrighty, so now let's get into some of the topic. Let's, not any one department is more important than the other, but the first step, let's talk about recruitment. We got to get the students on campus, looking around, interested in a degree, or hopefully a degree. They need to know who to talk to, where to go. So they start with recruitment. So give us an overview of what they can expect. You mentioned, of course, the preview days. They get to go around. About what is the time frame they're on campus during those preview days?
Right, so let's start here. We like to really start working with students their sophomore year. That's really a good time to start thinking about college, preparing. You don't have to, but it's a good time in your sophomore year of high school to begin to do some things to get ready for college. We like for students to go ahead and sign up for ACT prep courses and take the ACT as many times as they can. That's really the starting point for a student, is to get ready for the ACT and to keep their grades as high as they can. But you can take the ACT up to 12 times, so we would really encourage the student to get in there and start working on that their sophomore year, and then get in there and take the ACT multiple times. That'll really help them for scholarships and admission purposes. As far as what our office offers, starting our junior year, they can come to a preview day, and that's really a day that's fun, it's interactive, and it's a day where there's not too much information given to the student as far as technical information, deadlines and things like that, but more about college prep and how to get ready for this process. When you come to a senior preview day in your senior year, and we like for you to come to both, junior and senior preview day. When you come to a senior preview day, that's really where we're trying to make sure that you don't miss any deadlines and you understand all the information that you need to know going into your freshman year in college. So that's the senior year. But our high school recruiters are at pretty much all the high schools in this area within about 3 hours of Arkansas State out there, and they're giving these deadlines and tips as well to the high school students. So,
alrighty, and then so has there ever been any special case where, say, a student got an application in the day after, this just throw this out there, maybe a day after the deadline? Do you make any type of, do you offer them still the opportunity to let the application go through the process?
Sure. Well, if you're talking about an application deadline, you really have up until school starts to apply. So a lot of people are surprised by that. Now, that's not the ideal situation, but you could do that. They will admit up until the Friday before school starts at Arkansas State. So there will be a handful of students, 5, 6, 10, that may be working on getting something in that they weren't admitted. But for the mass majority of students, they're going to go ahead and get admitted early on in that senior year, maybe even in the summer before they start their senior year. But we will work with students all throughout the year, and like I said, up until the summer, right until we start school, we are admitting students. So we don't like to turn students away. If you meet our admission criteria, then we, up until class starts. So
Now, what advice would you give to someone? First of all, they don't know really what they want to do, where they want to go. I was one of those students. I only applied to one college. Thank gosh that I was accepted, but that's not what I would advise anyone. Apply to multiple colleges. So how many would you advise at least to start out with?
Right. I think 3 is a good number. If you want to apply to about 3 schools, try to narrow it down sometime in your junior year to about 3 schools. And we really encourage students to take that summer after they finish their junior year in high school to go ahead and visit some campuses. Go to a 2-year school, go to a couple of 4-year schools, pick out 2 or 3 schools you're interested in, maybe even pick out different types of schools, small private schools, maybe come to a large public institution like Arkansas State, and see the difference, see the amenities, the options you have. That really opens a student's mind, and that allows them to say, hey, I could fit in here. I feel like this is comfortable for me. Or maybe they may come on that campus visit and say, this is not what what I'm looking for. But we think that about 3 is probably a good number for applying for schools, as well as really visiting campuses, if you can do that.
All right.
3.
Well, thank you, Mr. Jason.
You're welcome.
All right, you're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. And if you have any questions or comments, we are streaming live on Facebook, so drop us a message, or you can give us a call at 870-277-1080. And the individuals here will be happy to address your question or comment. All right, so we got the student on campus. They looked around. They may have made their mind on which direction to go. So now they need to apply for aid to pay for college. So then we move over to Miss Dena.
Yes.
So even though you were, with scholarships, Mr. Terry works with financial aid as well. Try to help give our listeners and viewers some direction on to go. Some people may think, I don't have the GPA, I don't have the grades to apply for scholarships. There are scholarships that cover a variety of things.
Yes, there is a wide range of scholarship opportunities. And we are thrilled that we are able to offer scholarships to incoming freshmen, currently enrolled students, and transfer students.
Okay.
So there's opportunities for all students. Basically, they're divided into 3 categories for ASU, for A-State scholarships. We have institutional scholarships, and those are your scholarships based on your ACT and your GPA. And those range from a 22 on your ACT, which is a $2,000 annual award and it's renewable, up to a 32 on your ACT, and that's a $15,000 annual award that is renewable. Yes, and it breaks them all down.
Okay.
There's a scholarship matrix. We encourage students to, as Jason said, to start looking at this in the summer of before they begin their senior year.
Okay.
The institutional scholarship deadline is December 1st of their high school senior year.
Okay.
So in-state and out-of-state students are eligible for these scholarships. There is no scholarship application except for the highest level award, the A-State Scholar. Mm-hmm. So students simply need to be admitted to the university by December 1st with an official 6th semester transcript on file and official ACT or SAT scores.
Okay.
And then we, usually the 2nd, 3rd week of December, we look at those, we check to see the highest ACT score or SAT score that a student has, and we make those scholarship offers. We also have another scholarship opportunity for incoming freshmen. It's called the Arkansas Promise Scholarship, and that is for Arkansas residents only. But they have up until June 1st of their senior year to be able to meet that criteria. Not everyone is a great standardized test taker, so if they're having trouble raising that ACT, then they have until that June 1st deadline.
You mean, let's say June 1st after graduation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So that's an additional opportunity for our state residents for that.
Okay.
But again, there's no application. They just simply have to be admitted and meet the qualifications, and then we offer it to everyone that's eligible by that deadline.
Okay.
We do also offer a wide range of what we call privately funded scholarships. Those are your endowed scholarships, where donors set up scholarships with the university. They set their own criteria. It can be a wide range. They're not all based on ACT or GPA. Okay. Some of them are need-based. Some of them are strictly for non-traditional students, or there are some for graduate students. There are a few for international students. There's just a wide range of them. The donor sets up their own criteria. Okay. And that application is available to all students, incoming freshmen, transfer. They have made a decision on what their major is going to be. We send that application to each college, but there are some that like to do their own application for various reasons. Okay. So I always tell students, so that you don't miss the opportunity, make sure that you check out your college's website to see if they have any separate applications.
Okay.
And then there's a third category of scholarship opportunities, and those are your performance-based scholarships.
Okay.
And those are anything from playing a sport to being in the band, playing in the choir. So on those, students just simply need to contact that department and check with them to see when tryouts would be and what opportunities they have available for those scholarships.
Okay. All right, so you've given us a breakdown of the three categories. That's institutional, which is based off of your ACT and GPA, and there is a deadline of December 1st of your senior year. So those of you students who are going into your senior year now, can they start early?
Yes, they can go through the admission process now, and they can go ahead and send their official 6th semester transcript. They just simply go to their high school and request to have their official 6th semester transcript sent.
Okay, and then there's the private endowed. These are given by individuals that set up funds through Arkansas State.
Correct.
And so the deadline is February 1st on that. And then there's the performance, like she mentioned, sports, choir, or other department.
Correct.
And so you need to check with that college or degree program to see when the deadlines are and what the requirements are.
And then for state residents, we always encourage our students to check out the opportunities through Arkansas Department of Higher Ed.
Okay.
Most people have seen the commercials for the state lottery, the challenge lottery.
Ask you about that next.
Yes, ma'am. So that's a wonderful opportunity for our state students. That is actually on their website. They have what is called the Universal Universal application, and it's scholarships at adhe.edu. And you can fill out that application as early as October this fall if you're going to enroll in fall of 18. And that deadline is June 1st. And so students need to log on, fill out that application, and be able to see what they are eligible to receive. And for the challenge lottery, they simply need to have either a 19 on their ACT or a 2.5 GPA.
Okay.
And there is a challenge lottery scholarship for non-traditional students as well if they're transferring in from another college, and if they have, I believe it's 12 transferable hours and a 2.5.
Okay.
So alongside the lottery scholarship, I've known someone to receive it but also lose it. How does that work?
Okay. For all scholarships, they're merit-based. So there's criteria to keep any scholarship that's a renewable scholarship. So on the lottery, they require that you complete 12 hours your first year. 12 hours. 12 hours your fall semester and 15 hours the spring semester, a total of 27 hours for the fall and spring combined, and have an overall 2.5. Now the lottery does allow you, if you did not meet those requirements, they do allow you the summer to make up that deficit. But everyone needs to be aware that if you are on a scholarship, there are requirements obviously to receive it. Then there's requirements that you're in the correct number of hours for that scholarship to actually earn pay. We lock enrollment on the 11th class day.
Okay.
So on the 12th class day, if you are in the correct number of hours, for example, institutional scholarships require 15 hours.
Okay.
The lottery requires 12 their first, but 15 every semester after. And if you're in those correct numbers, the scholarship pays. Then you've got to worry about your renewal criteria. Make sure you've passed the correct number of hours with the correct GPA.
So when you renew, you also have to make sure that you're doing so by the deadline, correct?
Well, there's not a deadline other than the fact that you have requirements for fall and spring. Yes, you have to have completed 27 hours and have an overall 2.5 at the end of spring to be able for it to be renewed. But you do have the summer to make up the deficit for the lottery if you did not meet that.
Interesting.
Okay, so I just pulled up the scholarships.adhe.edu website, and they have actually extended their application deadline.
This year they did.
To June the 15th, so you still have a few more days. You have more time to get those applications in, and I'm sure this website, you can find almost any answer you need on this website. So please, I encourage anyone to go out there, to go to your computer, wherever.
Yes, that's for the class of 2017.
Class of 2017. Go look around this website. See what's available for you. Do not let any opportunity pass you by. I will tell you from personal experience, any extra money, grants, scholarships, anything, other than loans that you can get will be very beneficial to you in the long run. But we're going to have to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to let Mr. Terry Finney discuss some information from his department. So please stay tuned and we'll be right back after these announcements.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Husbands, want to better understand your wife? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. As you're listening to your wife explain a situation or problem, here are a couple questions to ask yourself. How does she feel as she's telling me this? And why is this important to her? One of the biggest challenges in marital communication is not understanding the emotion and motive behind the message. So, the next time you're not quite following your wife's train of thought, instead of pushing her to get to the point, try to figure out where the train is coming from and where it's going. Ask questions like, what makes you feel that way? Then, you'll understand and respond to her better. And she'll be very pleased you stayed on track with her. Remember, your family first.
The Family Minute, helping families love well.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a non-profit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook and KNOMEGA1908.com.
When police officers and firefighters say goodbye to their families before leaving for work, they know in the back of their minds there's always a chance it could be the last time. Police officers and firefighters put their lives on the line every day for us. Let's let our local heroes know that we appreciate what they do.
Brought to you by Metro PCS, offering Android phones, iPhones, and cell phone accessories. 2 locations in Jonesboro, 1001 East Johnson Avenue and 311 South G Street, 870-520-6266, 870-520-6074.
When a woman gives her all to a boyfriend, she is hopeful about the future. Marriage was in her future plans until she received some shocking news. Now with her dreams shattered and life altered, she has to pick up the pieces and move forward. It was in this experience that she realized that love has no protection. KLEK 102.5 and Massey Production presents the inspirational gospel stage play, Love Has No Protection, a story that would inspire you, renew, and reaffirm your faith. Featuring performers from all over Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana. One big show, 7 p.m. Saturday, June 24th at the Arkansas State University Student Union Auditorium. Tickets are $10 in advance, $15 at the door, and can be purchased at KLEK, Cool Cuts, and online at www.klekfm.org or by calling 870-277-1080. Bring the entire family Saturday, June 24th to the Arkansas State University Student Union Auditorium to see Love Has No Protection, the inspirational gospel stage play, 7 p.m. This event is a KLEK fundraiser.
Just added a special 3 o'clock p.m. matinee show. That's right, now it's going to be 2 shows, 3 o'clock p.m. and 7 o'clock p.m. The hit gospel stage play, Love Has No Protection, coming to the ASU Student Union Auditorium June 24th. Don't miss it. Support for KLEK is brought to you by
Fullness of Joy Ministries, 2120 Thorn Street, Jonesboro, under the direction of Bishop Adrian Rogers and co-pastor Susan Rogers. www.fjministries.org.
KLEK is starting a new fundraiser which will allow listeners to donate to KLEK while buying groceries. KLEK is a part of the Kroger Community Rewards fundraising program. When shoppers visit a participating Kroger and scan his or her Kroger Plus Shoppers Card, a portion of the savings goes back to KLEK to help keep it on the air. Details on how to sign up for the program are available at KrogerCommunityRewards.com and at KLEKFM.org. This is a KLEK fundraiser.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations, and we're speaking with Mr. Terry Finney, Mrs. Dena Bowler-Graves, and Mr. Tom Moore. Mr. Jason.
Tom's not here.
Yeah. Mr. Jason Smith, I apologize. And they're from Arkansas State University, and they are part of the Enrollment Services, which is a fairly new office department, whatever, however you want to classify it. Basically a one-stop shop concerning enrollment, admission, recruitment, anything dealing with enrollment, admissions, recruitment, scholarships, financial aid, all that good stuff. We have one shout out on our Facebook live stream to Tanya Arlene Boyer. Great job, Dena, Jason, and Terry. Thank you so much for tuning in. She's supposed to be working.
Yeah.
She does a great job.
She does.
She actually handles all of our Degree Center students.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful.
And she does a fantastic job.
All right, we have a phone call. Good morning. Hello, caller.
I had a question about, to your panel about scholarships. Do y'all get into the realm of scholarships or just only financial aid in general?
No, we can talk about scholarships. What question do you have?
Well, my name is McGann Hill. I'm the general manager of the station, and I've been considering getting back to school, but I don't have any financial aid left. So I was wondering if there are like scholarships for people such as myself and Quavila who work in the nonprofit sector.
There's not a particular scholarship for people that are working in the nonprofit sector, but we have a wide range of privately funded scholarships. And I think we talked about them a little bit earlier. All of those are different. The donors actually set their own criteria for those. So there are a wide range of those that are for non-traditional students. That application is on our website every December, and the deadline is February 1st for the upcoming award year. So I encourage all students to complete that application. And then we also, on the A-State website.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, under scholarships. If you go to the website and go to the A to Z link for S for scholarships, then you'll be able to find those there.
I think another area you could look when Dena was talking about the universal application for the Department of Higher Education in Arkansas, there are some funds out there that they have available for non-traditional students. So we encourage everyone every year go out and fill out that universal application, because you never know what may happen. Sometimes the state will set aside money, as I said, for non-traditional students. They may use it all really quickly, and then they may have some. There may be times when they don't use it all, and so that's another area to look as well as far as the state of Arkansas.
And we'll also be on the ASA website.
There's a link to it. Yes,
okay.
but their actual website is scholarships.adhe.edu.
All right, well, I certainly thank you for the information. It's been very informative, and I hope it's informative to everyone else out there that's listening as well. I'm going to now hang up. Thank you all, and have a great show.
Thank you, Yancy.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, that's some great questions that he asked. Never thought about, people who work in different sectors. I know that there is, I've seen information, once you graduate, you can get some help either repaying your student loans if you work in a certain field, but you have to also work for either a certain agency under a certain umbrella. Just say for Arkansas, I know at one point there was opportunity for individuals, say, working for the Department of Human Services. If they work for that agency for X amount of years, they were able to get some of their student loans repaid. So I'm looking into other opportunities. I saw something on Facebook about the Sociology of Liberal Arts program. So I'm going to check into everything I can to get some help after graduation, but it does help to have some help along the way.
And I think you're doing the smart thing, and you're looking for yourself. But, ask, and that's what we're there in our offices. Okay. You can call and ask us or come in and see an advisor to find out about different types of programs. But that's the one thing you have to do as well, is you have to look yourself and see what opportunities are out there, because one of the things that Dena was talking about with scholarships, there are a ton of scholarships out there that are on the web. I mean, just about every major company that you can think of has scholarships. And one example I always use, I don't know how many people watch college football, but when bowl season comes along, Dr. Pepper sponsors a big contest, and they do it at all the big bowl games like the Sugar Bowl and the Orange Bowl. And students, they choose 2 students, and they go out on the field and they throw a football through a cardboard box with a hole in it at halftime for $100,000.
Wow.
And that's a random drawing. So all you have to do is just go out online and fill out the information. And I always tell people it takes a little bit of work, but we see students all the time that come in and they'll have 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 outside scholarships, and that's because they went and spent a little time, maybe once or twice a week, maybe an hour, and filled out some applications and sent some information in. And so that's another area that I think sometimes people forget about. I mean, there's a lot of the banks here in town, there's other businesses, Walmart, Sam's, they all have scholarship opportunities that are available.
And this information is very helpful for individuals that live in, I hate to say, the lower income bracket. And there are some families who just don't know how to research. The students, say, coming up now, maybe a first year, first generation students. So their parents maybe have no clue how to do research. I have seen a lot of students get scholarships in the past 2 years. They're fortunate for them, their parents are educators, so they knew how to do the research. But there are those families that have a need but don't know how to do the research. So where would you advise someone to start that have no clue where to start?
On our website, we do have several scholarship searches.
Okay.
One of the most common is fastweb.com.
Okay.
And on these type of searches, students go in, fill out information about themselves, and then they email them back and tell them which scholarships that they could be eligible to receive. And they give them the information on how to apply for those scholarships. So large databases like that we keep on the A-State website under scholarships. Now we also keep a state financial aid and scholarship Facebook page. So I encourage everyone to like that page. We, as Terry was talking about, we get a lot of notifications for outside source scholarships. And we go through those and check them out because I do want to caution people, they can spend as much time as they want completing those applications. Just make sure that you never pay for any type of scholarship, any kind of service, even if it's a small fee that they say it's for processing and handling. That's a business, it's not a scholarship. Exactly. And of course you never give your personal information like social security numbers. But we go through and we vet those and check them out. Andrea Jones in our office is a scholarship assistant, and she does a fantastic job with that, maintains that page and looks through them and posts them. So we get those out there constantly. So I always encourage people to look at those and apply for them.
So what's the name of that database again? The one that you were just speaking
Fastweb.com.
Okay.
And then there's another one in Arkansas. It's fundmyfuture.org. And that really is heavily Arkansas-based scholarship opportunities. And it's run by the Arkansas Student Loan Authority in Little Rock, but they do a good job of keeping a lot of information out there.
All right, now let's kind of switch gears because there, unfortunately, are some people who just will not be eligible for scholarships. So they have to apply for student loan. They have to go through the FAFSA application. And I can't think off the top of my head what FAFSA actually stands for. I know it's a federal application.
I can tell you. It is, and we'll start off with something Dena just finished, but it is the free application for federal student aid. And again, that's very important to keep in mind that it's free because there's some companies out there that are trying to charge people to, funds to fill this out. And again, it's a free application, and if folks need help filling it out, that's what we do. We're there to help people fill that application out. Any questions, they may need to have answered. That's what we have our folks there to do, and they do a fantastic job, I think, of providing that type of help to our students. But That's the first thing they need to do is fill out the free application for federal student aid. FAFSA for short. That's the easiest way to, you don't want to say free application for federal student aid all the time because it's going to take you too long. But that's very important to get that filled out as early as you possibly can. And we had a big change this year. There may be some folks who filled it out before that are listening to us, and usually it was January 1st. Okay. That's when everybody started filling it out.
Okay.
And there was always I don't have my taxes completed by the time I need to fill it out for that year in January, February, March, and so people, well, I gotta wait till I get my taxes, or can I estimate, can I do this, you know. So this year it changed to what is called prior year, okay, PPY for short. You're gonna find out we have to shorten a lot of things because their names are so long, but it's PPY for short. So this was the first year that this occurred. But what it allowed this past year is for students for the fall of 17 or the 17-18 year, they can fill out the FAFSA starting October 1st.
Oh, wow.
So we really saw an increase in the number of students that filled out the FAFSA early this year, and that's really good for us because that gives us an opportunity to get aid out to them. But the other change with that is this past year was the 16-17 year, and so when people fill out the FAFSA, they use their 2015 tax return. Okay. So now with prior year, what that also includes is for the 17-18 year, they're still using their 2015 tax return.
Now, one question with that, and this is personal as well. Do the student have to resubmit an application, like go online, enter any, or they just have to click submit 2017, 2018 what is the process?
You have to fill it out each year. Okay. And then you have to do that. And let me throw one other thing in there. When Dena was talking about the lottery, in Arkansas, that first year you have to fill out the FAFSA to be able to receive the lottery.
Okay.
Because that's the only way that the state knows that, one, you're a U.S. citizen, and two, you're a resident of Arkansas.
Okay.
So that 1 year you have to do that. If you don't want to do it after that, you don't have to. Okay. But as far as the FAFSA is concerned, if you receive federal aid, whether it be a Pell Grant or work study or a loan, you have to fill that out each year because it evaluates. You're going to be evaluated each year because your income or your situation or whatever may change. Okay. And so they want to, they as in the feds, that's what I always say. They, when I say they, I'm talking about the feds, but they want to make sure that you're being treated fairly each year and that everyone's being treated equitably. So it's important that they do that each year. And so what this allows with this prior year is I've already finished my 2015 tax return. I did that 2 years ago.
Okay.
It's already available. I don't have to wait. It should all be done. If I did an extension, it should already be completed. So when I fill out the FAFSA for this year, then I've got a completed tax return. I have all the information I need as far as the financial part of it to get that FAFSA completed.
Okay, so student like myself, I'm in school now, and I want to go to school in the fall. Is it too late to fill out the FAFSA?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not too late. And like we were talking with, it's not too late to fill out the FAFSA. We have students that will fill them out after school starts.
No.
And some of those are returning students. Now I've been trying to determine for 30 years, how do you get, if you got federal aid 1 year, why do you wait till school starts the next year before you fill your FAFSA out? I still haven't figured that out. If I ever figure it out, I can write a book and make a lot of money because every school in the country would want to know that secret. But and we push it, and about 80 to 85% of our students will have the FAFSA filled out before school starts, and that's really good. And we put as much information out there as we can. But that's where you start. Just start by filling out that FAFSA and get that information sent in, and it's online. It's www.fafsa.ed.gov, and it's really easy to fill out. I think when I started a long time ago, that thing was like 12 pages long. It was paper, and it took a long time.
I remember those. Now it's online. It still feels long, but just because of how they ask certain questions. If you answer yes to this, then you're going to answer additional. If you answer no, you have to. So anyway, yes, you just have to be careful to read each line. One thing I want to ask, two things. I do want to mention to students, if you're considering taking online classes, there's some different criteria. You can't wait to the last minute to get your financial aid approved because there are no payment installments available for online classes. Everything has to be paid for before classes start.
Right.
So you cannot mess around and miss those deadlines. Versus, students who are on campus, they give you a little more wiggle room to get your classes paid for. So just want to throw that out there for those considering online classes. And maybe we have to have somebody come back to talk about on campus versus online classes. That's a whole nother topic within itself.
It is.
Also, just say you have individuals in the same household, parent, child, or myself, my son. We both were filling out applications, and I was concerned that one would mess up the other if both of us are applying for aid, living in the same household. But he's over 18, so his information would. Oh no! Please help me out.
Well, if we'll just say it's a parent and one student.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if the parent's going to school, then the parent fills out the application with their income and their information.
Okay.
And then the student would fill theirs out with the parent information and then their information. So they're going to have two separate applications.
Okay.
They're both going to fill the FAFSA out. It's just going to be filled out. The parent's just going to list their income only.
Okay.
And if they have one dependent, which would be the child living in the home.
Okay.
The child or the student is going to fill it out as, I'm the student, if I worked, here's what my income is or whatever, then here's what my parents' income is.
Okay.
So it's two different applications. Okay. It's very important to note, and I'm sure you already know this, but you have to get a FAFSA or a Federal Student Aid ID these days, and that's really the first thing that anyone needs to do before you even try to fill the FAFSA out is just to go to the FSA website and get your FAFSA or your Federal Student Aid ID set up. And what that allows is for you to be able to sign the FAFSA when you complete it electronically. And then if you borrow, it also allows you to sign a master promissory note electronically as well, and it just makes the process go a lot faster.
Another thing I want to point out, I'm glad you mentioned that, once you get a notice that, you have been awarded, there may be some additional steps that you need to take. Like for myself, I had to fill out a form, showing that I was tax exempt because of the type of income that I get. I had to do several different forms and fax them back to Arkansas State before they can finalize the process. So make sure that you're paying attention to your emails and the checklist that they send you, that you're getting all the paperwork in by the deadline, because I was initially supposed to start school last October for fall 2. I think it was October for fall 2, but because things didn't line up paperwork wise, I had to wait till spring 1 to start. So that's one thing I want to mention. I'm sorry, I just lost it.
Well, let me just add to that. That process you're describing is called verification.
Okay. Yes.
And we're going to have 20 to 30% of the students who fill out a FAFSA are going to be selected for verification. That's the a Fed process. When that occurs, we have to have a tax transcript, we have to have a verification form, and then there may be other items that you were mentioning that we may have to have as well. And that's the check and balance that the feds have. It's federal money, it's our taxpayer money, we're paying the taxes for that, so that's their check and balance to at least be able to check 20 to 30% of the students and parents who fill out the FAFSA. And sometimes if you don't file a tax return, we have to be able to document that. So there's a lot of documentation that goes along with it. You may have been selected this year, and then you fill it out for the 18-19 year, and you're not selected.
Okay.
And some people will get that call. Or we'll get tax transcripts, or we'll get other information in that people they've been selected 2 years in a row, and then they don't get selected that third year. They send it anyway because they're used to it. But that is a process that will occur, and just remember we're dealing with the federal government, federal money, so there's rules and regulations that aren't necessarily A states, but we have to abide by for us to be able to continue to offer that money to our students.
That's all right. So just get the paperwork in, do what you're supposed to do, check your emails, check for those checklists that they send you. And I'm glad you mentioned about the promissory note, and something else you mentioned. That's another thing that can hinder your financial aid getting finalized. You have to do all these different steps that are very important before things can get finalized. So we're going to leave it right there at the moment, and when we come back, we'll then get into admissions. We have a shorter time there, but we definitely want to touch on admissions. So you're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. When is the right time to combine your finances in a relationship? Examples include opening joint bank accounts, co-signing on an apartment lease, and sharing access to your credit cards. Doing this prematurely can have major negative consequences for your financial health, including your credit. Here's what you need to consider. How long have you been together? Have you been in an exclusive, committed, and drama-free relationship with your partner for at least a year? If not, do not commingle your finances or make joint financial commitments like co-signing on an apartment lease or a car loan. Complicated and often on situationships don't count, no matter how long ago they began. I'm out of time, but tune in for Money Matters tomorrow when I'll share more of what you need to consider before becoming financially intimate in a relationship. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization dedicated to uncompromising commitment to communities, service, leadership, empowerment. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
Arkansas Early Learning offers child care activities and educational programs to children ages 0 to 5 that gives them a head start in life. Arkansas Early Learning is in the community at no cost. Applications at arearlylearning.org. That's arearlylearning.org or on Facebook at Arkansas Early Learning.
Arkansas Early Learning is a nonprofit organization.
KLEK 102.5 FM wants to be active in the community. If you or your organization is hosting a community service event, we would like to know about it and be a part of it. KLEK will promote your event on air, online, and on social media. KLEK personalities may also attend the event and provide music and or entertainment. Certain restrictions and availability may apply. If you or your organization would like to partner with KLEK to make the Jonesboro community a better place, call 870-277-1080 or email us at klek@klekfm.org. In order for a community announcement or church announcement to be aired on KLEK 102.5 FM, we ask that the announcement be sent at minimum 1 week in advance. Thank you for supporting KLEK 102.5 FM.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, where we're speaking with Mr. Terry Finney, Mrs. Dena Bowler-Graves, and Mr. Jason Smith from Arkansas State University from the Enrollment Services. And now we're going to talk about admissions. I do want to give a shout out to some of those people, the people that are watching, Officer Nathan Coleman, Dwayne Harden, and Telvikio Banks. Thank you all for checking in to our Facebook live stream. Don't be afraid to drop your messages, questions, comments, or just say good job or some encouraging words. So thank you, everybody. Okay, so I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's talk about admissions. We talked about how to get money. Now we got to get it accepted.
Right. So we have 2 admission standards at Arkansas State.
Okay.
A student would need at least a 19 on the ACT and a 2.3 high school GPA to be admitted conditionally. And really all that means is that the student would go through our transition studies program. They'd have a little bit more structure based in their Making Connection course and some things like that. But we also have an unconditional admission standard, which is a 21 on the ACT and a 2.75 GPA. So you can be admitted with at least a 19 and a 2.3 at Arkansas State.
Wow, okay. Conditional and unconditional.
Yes.
And I will say that your website really breaks down and explains all of this information in great detail.
Right. And we'd like to tell students, well, you just go online, astate.edu, and on the home page there's Apply Now. You click on that, and that's where you apply. But we like to use the Strive for 5. You need 5 things to be admitted. You're going to need to fill out the online application. Okay. You need to pay a $15 fee, the application fee. You need to send in your high school transcripts, your shot records, your MMR, your measles, mumps, and rubella shots, and then a test score, an ACT score. And those are the 5 things that you need. And if a student's out there that you can't afford the application fee, if they're on free or reduced lunch, if they'll just have their high school counselor send that to our admissions office or their local recruiter, we can get that taken care of, and we'll actually waive the application fee if the student's on free or reduced lunch.
That's really wonderful. I bet some parents didn't even know that.
Right.
Okay, so we talked about application, the requirements. Now, once a student is enrolled, I know that there are some requirements based on the college that you're under, based on your degree, but is there a generic, I guess you say, requirement to remain enrolled in college?
To remain enrolled, you need to at least keep a 2.0. You can move into a probationary status if you were to drop below that. So keep it above a 2.0. And we have full-time students and part-time students, but a full-time student's going to need at least complete 12 hours. They're going to be enrolled in 12 hours. So that's really the main standard, is the 12 hours. Most degrees require about 120 hours. So you did that in about 4 years to graduate.
Okay, so 120 hours to graduate. I'm just making notes. Okay. Now, with the, I want to transition back just a little bit. When it comes to getting financial aid, not just scholarships, is there an hour requirement?
There is.
Okay.
Yes, there are academic progress requirements for all aid, including the federal aid programs. You have to maintain at least a 2.0 grade point average, and you have to pass at least 67% of your courses. Okay. So what we do is we check every semester. We're required to check every semester, and so we look at it from a cumulative standpoint.
Okay.
So as long as you're over 2.0, you're okay, and as long as that 67% is being passed, then you're okay. And those are, if you're not, then you get suspended.
Okay.
And you're not able to receive aid. You can appeal because there may be special circumstances or something may have happened that semester that caused it not to be a good semester, but there is an appeal process. But for any type of aid that you receive, you're going to have to pass a certain number of hours and keep a certain grade point average.
If anybody wants to know my story, I can tell you, going back to 1995, I've been through it all. So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Alongside the application process, I remember you all coming to my school. Actually, what do they call that? Do they call that high school visit?
Yes, a high school visit. Our recruiters will visit pretty much all the high schools within about a 3-hour radius and do a presentation. They'll give the same information we're doing today in a condensed version, about 30 minutes. It's kind of a mini preview day, except we go on the road and speak to those students. And then also it's a great way for the students at those schools to make contact and have a point person at Arkansas State where they can actually know a person that they can email or call if they were to have questions, because there's a lot of technical details with the financial aid and the admission and everything, but we're the people that will help that student. So they can keep asking questions. That's what we're here for. We'll walk them through step by step from applying, or maybe even just how do you register for a preview day, all the way through enrollment when they come to new student registration. So that's what our office does in the Office of Recruiting. And we have recruiters in pretty much within 3 hours of Arkansas State in about every school.
Okay. And the preview day is somewhat like a tour?
Sure. So a preview day has a lot of components to it. There's junior preview days and senior preview days. But for senior preview days, you're going to get a campus tour. You're going to get a presentation. You're going to learn. You're going to get to go to the faculty, to the academic department you're most interested in. So maybe it's nursing. You would go over with the nursing faculty and actually see the facilities. So it's really a good morning. It'll last from 8 in the morning until about 1 or 2 in the afternoon. We provide lunch for you. So you get to go in the residence halls.
Oh, wow.
Really get to see everything. It truly is a preview day. We have those 3 or 4 of them in the fall and several in the spring. You just go to astate.edu and /preview day, and you can look and see when those dates are and sign up for them.
And do you offer accommodations for, say, families with disabilities?
Sure, absolutely. We have golf cart tours and all kinds of things. So yes, we would absolutely help you out.
All right. And now what if someone, I want to ask this real quick. We have like 2 minutes left. For students who are maybe applying for the master's program, they're transferring from another college, or they've been out for a while but they want to get a master's degree, is the admission process same or similar?
It's similar. There's different requirements depending on what graduate level program. You wouldn't take the ACT. It would depend on what you're looking at. It could be the GMAT, the GRE, different tests like that. So there's graduate level tests. But yes, very similar process. You'd still go online and apply, and we would still need you to have an application fee. I believe it's $30 for graduate school. And some things, but yes, very similar process. Different requirements though, and different depending on which department, which graduate level program you're wanting to get into.
Okay, well, I can't thank you all enough for joining us today. I feel like we ran out of time. We could talk so much more about this. We definitely want to have someone come back and talk about on-campus classes versus online classes, Blackboard, and some other, amenities that Arkansas State has to offer. So, thank you very much, Mrs. Dena, Mr. Terry, Mr. Jason.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, I almost called you Mr. Tom. I have to give a shout out to Tom. He has been so helpful to getting individuals from Arkansas State to come on, and I'm finally going to get him in the studio one day next week. So he doesn't like to be out on air. So, but thank you all so very much for coming. If you have any questions or comments, again, go to Arkansas State University's Facebook page. Go to astate.edu. Click on the A to Z link, and it will take you to a variety of topics, and you can search from there. There's phone numbers listed, individuals. There's so much information out there. Don't forget to look for those scholarships. Don't forget to pay attention to the deadlines. Get those applications in now. So thank you for tuning in to Community Conversations. I've been your host, Kobila Hart, along with Micah. I hope everyone has a very blessed day.